This is Reverend Hannah Wanderi from Christian Foundation Fellowship, Kiambu. I'm telling you, the devil is a good schemer. He can plan, drop a thought that looks godly. It looks as if it's God passing that way. But remember, we are being cautioned. Do not be ignorant of the devil's devices. Praise God. This is Reverend Hannah Wanderi from Christian Foundation Fellowship, Kiambu. We really thank God because of His grace. And we say this year, according to Revelation chapter 3 and verse 8, there is a wide door that God has opened for us. And we have been learning this month about the hindrances that can hinder you to go in through that open door. And today, we are going to learn about being ignorant, about the devil's devices, schemes, and plans. Remember, we are still on the early morning of the year 2023. And being the last week of this month, we are really grateful to God as I sum up about hindrances. Follow me. And now we are going to read in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2. We start from verse 9. I will jump because of time, but you can read the whole chapter at your own time. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9. For this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. This is Paul who was writing to the church of Corinth. And he was saying, I'm writing. He was not with them. He was sending a letter to them. And he was telling, I want to have a proof. Whether you people, you are being obedient in everything that I have told you, that I have taught you. We jump and go to verse 11. And he was telling, obey everything that I have told you. Remember, Paul was sent by God to the Gentiles. And to this particular church of Corinth was telling them, verse 11, I'm writing to you so that lest Satan should get an advantage of you, all of us. Praise the name of the living God. Paul was calling them, be obedient to everything that I have told you. I've written to you. Because if you don't do it, the enemy or the devil can take advantage of us. And he went on and said to say, for we are not ignorant of his devices. What happens is this. The devil is a spirit. Satan is a spirit. And a spirit has no legal ground to come into this world and operate as a spirit. It's illegal. So what does the devil does? He enters living things, living objects. They can enter an animal or a human being. And that's why Paul was suggesting the church of Corinthians, do not be ignorant, because the devil is there scheming, planning, but he's looking around. My Bible tells he roams around, looking for somebody to devour. In another place, the Bible is telling us, do not give him a foothold. The devil doesn't want not a big room or a whole plot, no, just a foothold. When he just finds a foothold where to just put his feet, he will accomplish or what he has schemed or he has planned. And that's why Paul was warning the church of Corinth. And now I am saying, even me myself, if I'm not careful, the enemy, that is the devil, may find a foothold in my life to hinder my brother or my sister to go in through the door that God has opened for him or her. I can also be used to hinder myself to go in through the door that God has opened for me. We can look for examples in Bible. Genesis chapter 16, from verse 1 to verse 5. I would like us quickly, we go there. Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 to verse 5. It was about Sarai and Abram. Verse 1, now Sarai, Abram's wife, bore him no children. And he had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abraham, behold, now the Lord has restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in to my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarai. Verse 3, and Sarai's Abraham's wife took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abraham, to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Sarai, a Lord just came to her. Since I have no children, can I give my husband Abram, my housemaid, to go with him so that she may bear a son, that this disgrace may come out of my life? Maybe it was troubled. She was looking for a solution of her family. Maybe even Abraham was displeased with her. She has lived with her without a child. But you know the devil, he's a schemer. He just dropped a thought in Sarai's mind. And Sarai found, could be, it's a good idea. Let me try it. And she tried, and she gave Hagar, an Egyptian, to Abram. Abram went with Hagar, and Hagar conceived. And when she conceived, automatically, you know, she became proud. You have been here for this long time. No child. Me one time have conceived. And she went boasting on Sarai, and Sarai felt very bad. Verse 5, and Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. Sasa mgogoro kaanza. Vita. There before, they had peace. They were encouraging one another. God has promised us. He will give us a child. But the devil has killed, has planned. He has dropped a good thought, according to him, to Sarai. And this thought has now brought vita, mugogoro, in between the family. I'm telling you, the devil is a good schemer. He can plan, drop a thought that looks godly It looks as if it's God passing that way. But remember, we are being cautioned. Do not be ignorant of the devil's devices. Every thought that comes along your way, seek God. Because I think if Sarai could have sat down and sought the Lord could have reminded him, remember Sarai, your name is not Sarai, it is Sarah, a mother of many nations. And out of your flesh, out of your bones, you bear a son. But she went on. When you go to verse 12, my Bible tells me the son that was born by Hagar was a wild man. He was wild. He could not stay with that family. And when God blessed Abraham with Isaac, this wild man could hate Isaac, mateke anamrusha, anambia, remember, I came before you. Isaac could say, remember, also, I'm the promised son. He could say, no, I came before you. I have an inheritance from your fathers. And they could fight. And that fight has been there since then, even today. We are fighting. Why? Because the devil schemed. The devil schemed. Na mipango yake ikaingiana. Let's cite another person in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 24 from verse 1. It is about David. David knew very well, he was the king of Israel, that he was not supposed to number Israel. Lakini akiwa State House one evening, he just decided, I would like to know how many people do I have in Israel and Judah? How many men they are strong that I can go to battle with them? And now his heart was moved to number Israel and Judah. And he went to Joab the captain and told him, Joab, go and number Israel and Judah. I want to know how many they are. Joab tried to say, David, it is against God's will. But David could not listen to Joab. The word of the king prevailed. And Joab obeyed the voice of David. He went ahead, counting the children of Israel from city to city up to Judah. For 9 good months, he was in the process with his soldier, with his helpers. And 20 days. Imagine 9 months and 20 days. They were there. They never went to battle. They were there counting, since the king has said. But when you come to verse 10, after they have completed counting or numbering the people of Israel, in Israel, 500. Judah, 500. See this verse 10. 2 Samuel chapter 24 and verse 10. And David's heart smote him. After that he had numbered the people. And David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done foolishly. Imagine, for 9 months and 20 days, after all the process is through, this is the time David is coming back to his senses and remembering there was a commandment of the Lord that Israel should not be numbered. But he has already done it. He went before the Lord. He said, God, I have sinned. There is guilt upon my heart. I beseech you that you remove it. I'm foolish. So before you reach there, to call yourself foolish, be aware of the schemes and the devices and the plans of the enemy. Yes, God forgave David, but he said it is not without a consequence. He was told, he was sent, the prophet God was told, go, tell him to choose 3 things. Famine, 7 years. Freeing from the enemies, pursuing you, David, 3 days. Another 3 days of pestilence. And David knew, human beings, my enemies, wataniua, watanimaliza. For famine, 9 years, there will be nobody surviving in Israel. And he said, Lord, let me fall on your hands. And Daudi kumaliza hivyo. The angels of God came down. They started killing. And my Bible tells me within that day, 20,000 people died. And God had mercy. He told God, go back. Tell David to go look for a field and offer a sacrifice, that I wipe away the sin that David has done. Brethren, the consequences of the devices and the plans of the enemy, they are painful. It's my prayer for this year that may God help you, may God help me, that we shall be aware that the devil is scheming every day we wake up. He's planning over the night. He's not sleeping. He's roaming all around. We are going to see the other devices that the devil is scheming in these last times. Doctrines. There are many doctrines that they are going all around. And they may be a hindrance to you to go in through the door that God has opened for you. Let's look at the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4 from verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirit and doctrines of devils. Be aware, there are many that have gone away from the faith. They are teaching some doctrines, seducing spirits, that when you listen to them and you are not in the Spirit of God, they will sway you away from the perfect path that God has prepared for you. Number 2, it is speaking lies in hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. They have given themselves to seducing spirit, to lies in hypocrisy. They do not want to go in the line in accordance to the word of God. They use their own knowledge because of their passion. Number 3 is saying forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meat. There are these doctrines. I don't want to mention them, you know them. Where you are, we are in different parts of this world. We have different doctrines. But here, the Bible was citing about one doctrine. As he said, do not marry. Nowadays, people have gone away from faith. Ladies are marrying ladies. Men are marrying men. They have gone out of the way. Some have decided they are not going to marry. They are going to stay without marriages. And they are working out aloud, not to bring up the order of God of families. It is a lie from the enemy. The devil has just schemed a plan to kill families. And most people have gone through that door. You never know. It is the devil's door to hinder you, to accomplishing the plan of God. But we are seeing as if it's a fashion. All a work, if you are not aware about this. Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meat. There are so many things that are not only the real food. We are being commanded, do not do this, do not do this, do not do this. Do not eat this, do not eat this. I would like us to be aware because we are in the last days. And this year, the way God has opened a wide door, the enemy has also opened a wide door, that many will flow inside it, not knowing it is not a godly door. The devil has schemed, has planned to cause divisions among the people of God. He has brought offenses. Romans 16, from verse 17 to 18. They are offensive doctrines that has come to cause divisions. I tell my sister, me, I don't eat meat. And you eat vegetables. And I find myself as I'm pure holy, I'm better than this sister who is eating vegetables or eating meat. And these minor doctrines, they have divided the minds. They have cast up our focus on Christ. We have started fighting because of food. What you eat and what I don't eat. It doesn't concern you. But one thing that I know from the Bible, Paul said, if my eating of meat, it will cause my sister not to see Christ, I better not eat it. Let me not be a stumbling block to my sister or to my brother. If my eating vegetable will cause my brother, my sister to stumble, to become a stumbling block, I better not eat it. But let us be aware and come out of these doctrines that have come to divide us. Be simple and follow Christ. Focus. Because all these things, the devil has schemed them to steal our focus, to mislead us. We start fighting because of this, what we eat, I don't eat, what you wear, you don't wear. So that we may miss the focus. Instead of focusing and looking into where the door is open, we start fighting up divisions, being stumbling blocks to one another. May God forbid. There is nobody that cannot be used of the devil. Here I want you to see somebody whom Jesus said is the stone, is the pillar of the church. And this was Peter. Peter was the closest person, the right hand man of Jesus Christ. And when Jesus Christ started talking about the wide open door, that God's time has come for Jesus Christ to die on the cross, so that me and you, we may receive salvation. Peter decided, no, you are not going to die. Matthew 16 and verse 21, from that time forth, Jesus started showing the disciples how that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. Verse 22, then Peter took him, kamchukua kamweka kando. There are those brothers who are those sisters. Atakuchukua. Announce that this door is my door that God has opened for you. Anakushika tu. Kwambia, hey, my sister, just come. Peter did so. Alimshika tu Yesu, akampeleka pembeni. Ndio wanafunzi wale wengine wasisikie kile anasema. And he told Jesus, verse 22, then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Lord, they shall not be unto you. Hey, we bali sana na wewe Yesu, wewe hutakufa. Nimesimama hapo. I rebuke that death, not knowing it is the time of Jesus Christ that has come, and God has opened that wide door of salvation, the door of forgiveness, the door of bringing mankind back to God. And here Peter stands and saying, no, it is not going to happen. I assure you, my brother and my sister, there is an open door for you. But there are people, we unaona tu watu, wanakuambia hapana, usifungue biashara hapo. Hapo haiwezi faulu. There are no customers. Wanakuambia hapana, wewe enda mahali fulani ndio utafungua biashara. And you have prayed and you, Mungu tu amekuonyesha, go and weka biashara yako hapo. And your friend just comes and says, no, wewe huwezi weka biashara hapa. This is not your class. Anakuonyesha mahali unaweka. Na wewe you incline your ear. But see what Jesus said. Verse 23, but he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou sufferest not the things that be of God, but those things that be of men. Yesu alimkasia Petro macho. And remember, Jesus ndiye alimchagua Petro to be a disciple. But here, alimgeukia tu Petro akamwambia, Petro, get me behind me, Satan. You think Petro was the Satan? No. But inside, who was speaking through Peter was Satan. Because he knew if God, Jesus Christ, goes on the cross, salvation has come to all mankind. And he wanted to hinder that. Peter didn't know, because he was a human being. He thought it was a good idea to tell Jesus, we need you, we love you, we want to be here and celebrate together with you. Not knowing the enemy, the devil, is using him to hinder the breakthrough, the wide door that Jesus Christ has opened for the whole mankind. And Jesus knowing, he said, get behind me, Satan. So, usikae pale ufikirie huwezi tumiwa. You are a mother. You may be used of the devil to hinder your son to enter through a wide door that God has opened for him to go to America, where his blessing is. Na unakaa hapo unakauka, unamwambia hapana, huwezi niacha. Utaniacha na nani? Ana masingo mom. Because of the love that you love your son, unasema hapana hataenda. Na unakauka hapo. Not knowing is the enemy that is using you to hinder this young man to go through in the door that God has opened to him. You are dad there. Unashikilia your daughter like this. Unamwambia hataenda Western because you come from Mount Kenya to be married there. And this God that has opened that wide door for your daughter to go to Western, to be the master of business in that area. Na unasema hapana, hawezi. Not knowing you are being used of the devil to hinder your daughter to go in through the door that God has opened for her. We unakauka pale, you are the auntie of the daughter. Sema hapana, lazima waweke hapa 500,000. Tumekusomesha. Na mnakauka hapo and you are blocking the way of your daughter. Blocking the way of your son. You are becoming a hindrance. Not knowing the enemy is using you. You husbands, your wife just comes home with a good godly idea. Anataka kufungua biashara mahali fulani. Na unakauka hapa unasema hapana. My wife staki aende akaonekane pale ataniaibisha. Akitandaza vitunguu hapo chini. You despising that business. Kumbe is a stepping stone. Is the door that God has opened for her of greatness. And you are despising it. Unasema hawezi atakuaibisha. You are broken. Hawe. Na ujue Biblia inasema ya kwamba mwanamke ni mche mwororo. Anaanzaga on the ground, anatembea. Na hana nguvu nyingi za kujisimamisha, anasimama tu. Na miti ile iko na nguvu. The pine. Anapanda juu. And she rule and reign in her high places. So, don't be used to hinder her. Wacha atandike hiyo biashara vitunguu hapo na nyanya. I have a testimony of 100. Biashara yake ilikuwa tu hiyo. Anatandika tu vitunguu na nyanya hapo. You would despise that business. Unamuona tu unasema shwari. Hizi tu ndio sitakuriwa kwake ndizo tu sitamuinua. But I want to assure you. With time, that sister bought her plot and built. Because it was God who had opened that door. No matter how little, how small it is, it was God. It doesn't matter how big or how mighty. It all is it about God. Is it God that has opened that door? Surely you are going to make it. So what I say, do not deny. Don't stand there. Be a stubborn block like Peter. Peter was just there innocent, never knew it is the devil who was using him. But he was used of the devil. Na shetani hana class, hana mtu yule hawezi tumia. Can use anybody. Can use anybody. So from me, I'm saying, let us be aware of the devil's devices, the schemes and the plans. Let us not be ignorant. Let us be awake in our spirit that we shall not be used of the enemy. From me, Reverend Hannah Wanderi, from Christian Foundation Fellowship, may God bless you. I wish you the end of January 2023, a prosperous month. And as we come to February 2023, because by the grace of God, we shall see February, God will be with us and we shall continue. May God bless you.